Hey, everybody, and thanks for joining us today for Internet Safety. This is our second session of the Parent Support Program, which is hosted by the East Initiative. And our goal with these sessions is to improve your technical skills and your knowledge so that you as parents can better support your kids in this virtual world. So my name's Amy Bell. I am the program coordinator here at East for Education Unleashed. And joining me today are Jourdan Taylor and Aaron David with our technical support group. These are my experts on internet safety. So they put together this whole session and they're going to share what they know with you so that you can better support your students. All right, guys, take it away.
All right, thanks, Amy. So I'm going to do a little bit of screen share. And as you can see, we made an amazing slide. All right, so as Amy said, I'm Aaron David. I'm the technical services lead at East, and along with there's Jourdan, another technical service. So internet safety best practices. So these are some things that you guys should consider and some things to think about as you get on the internet or as you're just getting on your phone. So first thing first is, of course, passwords, right? So usually whenever you signed up for something or get on your banking account, it always asks for a password. And this is where we always say, make sure your password is unique to yourself, and as well as make sure that password no one else can access. So there's always best practices. So as always, avoid using your same password over and over for multiple accounts. So that way, if one account gets breached, you only have to change a few certain passwords, not all of your accounts, right? And as always, don't make your password very easy. So don't have it as password123 or just say password or even just your name. And a lot of times we've seen password as your first name dot last name or your name and then when you were born. And those aren't really complex. So as always, make sure you have complex passwords. So there's always lowercase, uppercases, special characters, so exclamation point, at signs, even numbers. So 1 to 0. And what's great is I've linked a website where you can actually check your password. And a lot of times, I'm going to click on it. A lot of times you don't, well, most of the time you don't type in your password that you actually use. So you can try to make it a little bit different. So as we said, don't make your password just password, right? So if I type password here, hackers can actually instantly find that password easily. So it'll be an instant on here. Now let's say I put password123, it should be instant as well because a lot of people use it and they know that it takes longer or takes a lot of time to not look for it. But actually it's 1 month. So as we said, make it unique. So make it where it's exclamation points, there are special characters, there are numbers. And a lot of times make it more of a sentence. So a lot of times a lot of people could put let's say get to the chopper. So as you can see, that's from a movie. And the longer it is, the more time it takes for hackers to get to it. And as always, add special characters. And so it's always special characters. So let's say had add sign. Usually we have it as well. Actually, let me see if I can show it here. So a lot of times when you're typing out things, let's say your password is best, right? A lot of times you can change your password a little bit to make it more complex. So a 3 or E looks like a 3, an S looks like a dollar sign, right? And that's the best way to do it. So change it up a little bit, make it unique, and this will prevent a lot of the hackers getting into your accounts. And as always, change your password every 6 months. And next is, along with that, is a two-factor. So a lot of times now, when you log into your bank account or any personal accounts, there's now a two-factor. So a two-factor means you have the password, and then you need another way to log in to confirm that it is you. So it's usually a phone. So you get a text saying, hey, here is your code to plug it in once you type in your password. Or you get an email as well. An email will say, you have been trying to log in. Do you authorize this account? And then there's a yes or no. So you click yes, and now you're back in. So Two factors are great because that way you're always aware if someone's trying to log into your account, and you yourself know that if you log in, you have been asked like, can I log back in and all that fun stuff. Next, as always, security passwords, make them unique to you. Consider password manager. So I actually fail at this point where I think of so many different passwords, and when I log into an account, I have at least five, and then I'll get locked out, and then I have to go in and go reset it, call the company, say, hey, I need to reset my password. So always good to have a password manager where only you have access, and you can keep all your passwords in that little, let's say, box, I guess. Usually there's a password manager like Bitwarden, 1Password, and LastPass. Those are great to use. They're online where you can type in your passwords. So whenever you need to access it, just sign in and it'll tell you the password. All right, so scam and malicious software. So as always, the website and internet is always not safe. So there are those scammers out there trying to get info out of you so they can try to either steal your identity or just trying to take money. So this is what we have, one that's called phishing. So it usually you get an email saying, hey, sign up here, or hey, we need you to log into your Facebook. Your account might have been hacked. So when you click on that link, it may look like Facebook, and when you log in, it may log you in, but at the same time, that person, whoever sent you that thing, they might have gone on your username and password. So as always, when you get an email, check to make sure if it's a real email. So you can actually check the subject, make sure it is from the person or from the Facebook. And a lot of times when you click on the link, it shouldn't let you sign in. You can actually just go to your own account. So you go to facebook.com and log in. Don't click on that hyperlink. All right. Another one is, well, these are tips actually. So, like we said, trust your gut as well. Just look at it. If it feels like it's a scam where it's saying, "Hey, I need your information now. I need your birth date. I need your login. I need your password." Those are phishing emails. So don't fall for those. Those are easily sometimes able to tell because it'll ask you for personal information. Sometimes, like most of the time, your bank won't email you saying, "Hey, we need your account number," or hey, we need to we need you to log in and tell us an account about this. So trust your gut, check for URLs. Usually when you go to your bank, you know the URL. So if it says something where this is not your bank.com, you know it's not the bank or something weird. Never trust a pop-up as well. So when you're online, you're Googling things and then suddenly pop-up says your account has been hacked, or hey, here's a Facebook login, go ahead and log in. So beware of those. Um, and there's also social engineering. So these aren't really as common as others. So as always, just trust your gut. Know that if the person is saying, if someone gives you a phone call, someone calls you and say, "Hey, I need you to give me your login." You know and you don't know that person, so you know that's more of a scam, and you know that person is not really wanting to help you out. And then sometimes a person just come up to you and say, "Hey, give me," instead of someone coming in trying to rob you, it's like, "Give me your money." This could be somebody, "Hey, give me your information." Same thing as well. You know that's a scam, and you don't want to give them that information. And then there's a fun one. It's called shoulder surfing. So let's say you're in a supermarket and you're just moseying around, and then your phone suddenly get a message, and then you pull it out, type in your 4-pin code, and there's a guy on your left watching you put in your 4-pin code, right? So that person actually sees that. So that's called shoulder surfing. So it's just somebody watching over your shoulder, looking at it and see what you plug in. Or even let's say at an internet cafe, you're typing in your password, you're trying to log into your bank account, and somebody over there is watching you type it in. So just be aware of your surroundings as you do put in your passwords, unlock your phone, and as always, just be aware of your surroundings. All right. These are some fun things, and as always, things to remember. When you're at an internet cafe or just even Starbucks on a computer, just doing some stuff, just if you ever have to leave all of a sudden, make sure you lock your computer. So this is anywhere from even being in your office. So you're at home or you're at work, you're working, and then people are coming back and forth as they're fixing other stuff or they're just working. Make sure you lock your computer. So Windows L is on your keyboard is a short key to lock your computer. It doesn't shut it down. It just puts it to sleep, and then when you turn it back on or make it unsleep or just wake it up, it asks for your password again. So it's always good to keep your computers locked. And as always, when you're on a public computer, so let's say you went to a library, then you have a computer there, you want to check your bank account, don't ever save your password. So Chrome is always good at asking, do you want to save your password? Or hey, do you want to store it on here? Always say no or put never, because that's not your own personal computer. That's someone else's, and someone else can go in and look at your passwords. Another great thing is on your computer, just for security's sake and all those fun stuff, keep your computer up to date. So this is where Windows or Mac or Windows or Apple will always come in and try to push out updates for security reasons. So they'll say, hey, we need to update your computer. And this is where sometimes they need to update Windows Defender or even what Apple has as well. All right, so malicious software. So these are different kinds of ways where hackers, scammers, or anybody can go in trying to get information out of you, right? So these are where you might have accidentally downloaded it, or somehow you got into a website and it automatically logged or downloaded it for you. So there's such thing as called keyloggers. So this is where everything you type on the keyboard, it logs it. So if you ever have to go to your bank account, you type it in on your keyboard, suddenly now it goes to a notepad and it goes to the scammer or the hacker, and now they know your information. So just be aware. You can always check your programs to make sure you don't have suspicious programs. So if there's a program called keylogger.com or keylogger.exe, I want to uninstall and then run your Windows Defender just to make sure your computer is nice and clean. And now a lot of times now is where you're on a website, it's a perfectly safe website. Suddenly there's a pop-up saying your computer has been hacked, or there's a pop-up saying, hey, we have your account. Now give us money. And that's what a scareware is. They're trying to scare you into thinking that you've been hacked or they have your information, and then they're going to say, now give us money or call this number and then they will help you out. The the always good thing to know is a lot of times you haven't been hacked. A lot of times you just need to run Windows Defender or even that's what is it like some other software. So you have Windows Defender, you have malware removal.
Malwarebytes is a good free one.
Yeah, Malwarebytes. Thanks, Jordan. Yeah, Malwarebytes, that will run and scan it and make sure you don't have any malware on your computer. So if you ever get those, run those two things just to make sure you don't have it. And a lot of times you get ransomware. So saying, hey, we have your information, now pay us. A lot of times they don't have your information, or as always, if you think they do, change your passwords, make sure you check your bank accounts, nothing's been stolen. And as always, keep an eye out on your accounts. Now there are several things that you also need to be aware of. So adware. So as we said, these are also pop-ups. You just get a pop saying your account has been hacked, or there's an ad saying, "Hey, would you like to download this software for free?" You got to be aware of those. And then we have malware, which is just a malicious application that just try to steal your information. But there is a software that you can use against it, which is called Malwarebytes. All right, so how to prevent all these? So the internet is great, but there's always scary things out there, right? So as always, recover things. So if you have important documents on your laptop or on your computer, feel free to go ahead and back those up. So you can back up to a hard drive, back it up online somewhere like Overdrive, Google Drive, um, even what is that other virtual drive box? I think Dropbox. There we go. You can upload it to Dropbox, which is pretty much free. And as always, run your antivirus. So there's Windows Defender, Malwarebytes if you want to download to make sure you don't have any malware. And of course, Apple has their own thing that you can look into. Um, as always, you trust your gut, or yeah, just trust your gut. Look at it, see the program. If it looks sketchy or malicious looking, don't run it. So if it says your favorite song.exe, it may be a virus, because I don't usually, a lot of times a virus wouldn't know what your favorite song is. All right, so now this is the fun part of where you know a lot about this now. This is where how to be internet safe, how to make sure not to access things or not to download and change your passwords. But this is also how can you help your kid from all that, right? Like how to prevent this. So this is where we have some uh, walkthrough later about parental controls. So this can be on your computer or on device. So let's say you gave your kid a laptop. So there is a function there where there is a parental control where you turn it on to make sure they can access adult content or just any unsafe websites. So the computer and Chrome would know like, oh, this is not safe. We won't let the kid go into that. And this also goes on your devices. So like your Apple devices, Android devices. So this is where you go to settings, advanced settings, maybe your Wi-Fi settings as well. Maybe just look for parental controls. A lot of it has this, just so to make sure you guys are making sure you're turning it on and making sure your kids are safe on getting to the websites that they need to, but not to the ones they shouldn't be going on. So we'll do a little bit of demo, how to get to the router, as well how to prevent accessing those content, right? So what I would do, usually a computer, or let's say you're trying to access your router. So a lot of times you can just Google it, right? You can put how to get to my, let's see what brand I have, the TP-Link router, or if you have an Asus router, you just Google that. And right now I have a TP-Link, so I'll show you how to access that and even how to find a way to get to that. So usually you can just type how to get to TP-Link router, and it will give you an address to log in. But most of the time, you may not know your router's IP address. So this is where you do a little bit of technical thing, but not too techy. So on your keyboard, you'll press Windows R, that's a command run file. Or instead of doing Windows R, you can just type Windows and type CMD, and command prompt would pop up. Or just type command prompt. But what I'm going to do is Windows R, run file, type CMD, press enter. And this is a box that will give you network settings that you will need to get to the router. So what I will type is ipconfig space / all. So that's ipconfig / all. So like internet properties configuration, and I want all of the information from my internet, right? And the biggest one, I would try to, oops, hold on. I believe you guys couldn't see that. Let me do a reshare of, let's see, share. All right, that's CMD. Can you guys see that now? So it should be a command prompt on the screen.
No, I can still see your webpage where you Googled that, but I cannot see your terminal.
Oh, all right, just click and share. All right, you should see that now.
There we go.
So what I will do is ipconfig, so internet properties configs, which is configuration space / all. So you see a bunch of numbers, but the only thing we want to look for to get to your router settings so we can turn on parental controls is called a default gateway. So this is what you call the router's IP address. So this is mine. What I can do is just copy this, so Control C, and hold on, I'm gonna have to reshare my tab again. So I copied the IP address. So I just had Control V, which is just pasting what I copied from my command prompt, and press enter. And this is now my router's interface. So you might have different routers. So you might have a TP-Link or an Asus router or a Netgear. And sometimes the password, if you never changed it, should be on the router itself. So check on the back, make sure, or check on the back just to see what the password is. But I'm not going to log into mine. I'm actually going to pull up an Asus router emulator. That way we can all see what, if you have a Asus router, which is perfect, you can see how to turn on parental controls or how to control that. So the interface will be very much different from an Asus router to a TP-Link to a Netgear, but a lot of the settings should be the same. So we want to go to a setting called parental controls, and this one will be under AI protection. And there it is. So if yours is different, you just might have to Google it, saying like how to find parental controls on a Linksys router or a Netgear router. Once you click on it, now this is where for your kid, make sure their devices are safe as well, or if you want just an overall keeping all of your devices safe. This is great for it automatically sees your account. So let's say your kid's account or device is an Asus iPhone. So you just click on that, check mark adult content. So make sure you don't have access. Um, let's say they're supposed to be doing homework. They shouldn't be watching Netflix on that device. You can click this and you click apply. Oops. And let's see. Yep. So that changed that Asus iPhone. Now it has been added. So this device cannot access adult content and cannot do streaming. And as always, once you like they're old enough, they understand and they've actually finished the homework, you can actually uncheck this and now they're back to, oops, this is just an emulator, so it won't save it actually. Go back to parental controls and yeah, so you can click on it, just uncheck it and then make sure they have it. Another thing is, so we've talked about where you can have it on per device, but this is where you can actually do it on all your devices. So this router prevents you from accessing some adult content or anything that's could be malicious. So this makes sure you have it on, and as always, is making sure malicious sites are being blocked. So that's on, which is perfect. Two-way IP. So this is where someone else is trying to get into your um, router and then trying to see what you have in your network. And this is on, so it's protecting you from accessing or from others trying to access your devices and your network. And this is also another one which is just like a malware software trying to get in and trying to access it. And so as always, if you ever need to get to your router, you can go to command prompt, put ipconfig/all, find the default gateway, and type it in on a URL. So go to a browser, type in on that address. So it doesn't have to be Chrome. It can be a Safari, Internet Explorer, or Firefox. And it will ask you to log in. Those logins will be on your router. So it could be like under the router and it might say your password or username. And if that has been changed and you don't know what it is, you might have to reset your password so so you can get into the interface and make sure your kid is safe. All right, so I think that's it with the router. I'm gonna go back here. All right. Well, I think that's mostly what we've covered. If you have any questions, put it on the chat as always, and we'll answer them. And as always, be safe on the internet. Be safe out there. It the internet can be of great knowledge, a great fun way to use it, but it can be malicious. But just be safe. All right. So I'm gonna pass it off to Miss Amy Bell.
Okay, thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Jordan. That was a lot of information. It's sort of mind blowing that you have to know all this stuff to just to make sure that we're safe on the internet. And I know the parents, our parents viewing are probably that was good for them, but they're probably wondering too, like kids all have their own email account, right? At
Mm-hmm.
school. most do a Gmail account. Is it common for those to get hacked, or for them to get phishing scams through those types of email accounts?
Yeah, so the the bad thing is like scammers don't care what age you are, so they will scan it, they will send it to as many emails as they can find. But what's great is a lot of these emails are now able to track those, so they make sure if it's a scam or suspicious emails, they'll put on the spam email or they'll even block it for you. But a lot of times it may get passed through them, but just be aware of what kind of emails are coming in. So make sure you check who's it from, and always reply to a trusted email. So if you know the person, go ahead and email them. But if it looks suspicious, you can just ignore it or delete it.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for that clarification. I know we worry about our kids being
Mhm.
out there on the internet. Okay, well, I think we will wrap it up then. I don't see any questions in the chat. I appreciate you guys spending time with us and sharing your knowledge. And we'll be posting this out there on the website. So if you want to come back later and view it for the information, please do that.